Hi guys, welcome to week 2, part 1 of math. The same thing we're going to go through. I'm going to try and go through it pretty quick for this beginning part, but it should look the same as week 1. You have your cover sheet right here. Week 2 is for this week, April 20th through the 24th. And then here is kind of your checklist, I guess. Read and complete the introduction, copy notes into Math Notebook, or just simply print the notes page and put it in your notebook. Study the notes step by step and the course outline, which we know is the red resource folder. Complete the assignments. There are 4 total, 2 in part 1, 2 in part 2. You can do the challenge problem. It's very cool to hear back from a bunch of you that did it with your family. Very cool. And then if you would like to enrich your learning, you can continue with your iReady lessons. And of course, Prodigy and SumDog are really good as well. You will also find multiplication table and division table. You can also use your calculator. You'll see there's some decimal answers in this lesson. And that brings us to our introduction. It says distance in a coordinate plane. So coordinate plane is going to be here your X and Y axis. There's Y, here's X, here is Y. It says if the side of each square represents 1 mile, and what they're talking about is each square in the graph. And it's kind of hard to see here. It's kind of hard on the packet, but you can understand it's the regular graph paper size. How far is it from Tom's house to the mall? So you're just going to count from here, Tom's house, count down to the mall. Oh, and I missed it, but there it is. But you should have counted 5 squares, so it's 5 miles. Okay, so now we want to know how far is it from Tom's house to the park? And that's actually a diagonal line. How are we going to figure that out? Okay, so it says if you come up with 5 miles, you're correct. And here's what you're going to do. So you are going to draw a straight line from Tom's house to the park. There it is. Let's see here. Now start at Tom's house and draw a line 3 units down. 1, 2, 3. We know that is 3. And from that point, draw a line 4 units to the left, and you're at the park. And what do you know? We drew a right triangle. So what we have is we have the side that is A. We know B, that is 4 because we drew it. We can count the squares. So we want to know what C is. Okay, so now we use Pythagorean theorem to find the distance from Tom's house. A squared plus B squared. B squared equals C squared. So 3 plus 4 squared is C squared. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16. That equals 25. Square root of both sides. So it is 5 equals C. So 5 miles from Tom's house to the park. All right, and that brings us to our note page. And here's the thing, it actually says pretty much what we just did on the introduction. Up here, we have distance in a coordinate plane. Can you find the distance between any 2 non-vertical points by drawing a right triangle and using the Pythagorean theorem? And yes, of course we can. And if you look here, the distance between A and B, it's the exact same dimensions that we just did getting Tom to the park. Come out with 5 equals C. Okay, so you could also do a distance formula, and we're going to look at this right here, but when we do the work, we're actually going to still use Pythagorean theorem and draw a triangle, okay? But this is another way to do it. You'll notice that it has things that are familiar that we've used before, okay? So it says you can also use the distance formula. D equals square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, the square root of all of that. And if you look over here, you'll see that we have point A is x1, y1. Up here we have point B is x2, y2. Okay, and you're going to find the change in x and the change in y. So we use that terminology when we were doing this slope. Okay, so this is actually change in x, oh boy, plus change in y, and then of course they're both squared. It's like a bunch of scribbles, right? All right, so up here, let's look at the example. And so we're finding the distance between, here is our first point, 1, 5, and our second point is -4, -2. And so you'll see D equals, gives us our distance formula. Here we are simply plugging in both of these points, and then we're simplifying. Okay, so down here where it gets cut off, let's finish it. So we are right here, we are at D equals square root of -5 squared plus -7 squared. And here's the cool thing about square root. So we have -5 squared. Well, -5 times -5, negative times a negative is a positive. Plus -7 times -7 is 49. Add those together. We're going to say D equals the square root of 74. And use your calculator. It can be a decimal, it's okay. Comes out to be 8.6. Distance equals 8.6. Okay, so there's your notes. This next page is the course outline, or we have referred to it all year as the red resource folder. So this again gives the same example up here with, let's see, the a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and it's showing it on a coordinate plane right here, and plugging in numbers for a and b and finding c. Okay, down here again we have our same example with the sides 3, 4, and you solve it, ends up being 5 over here. So if you need, you can come back to this page as a reference. And here we go. So this is new. We haven't used these this year, but I really like them. This is just a step-by-step guide. And hopefully you're able to just read it and understand what we're doing. And what's cool is you can come back if you get stumped and look at this to see what you need to do next. So it's telling us for our step 1, plot the points on a coordinate plane and connect them with a straight line. So you'll see there is point A being connected to point B. Okay. Step 2, from point A, draw a horizontal line segment, and from point B, draw a vertical line, and it's going to come together at a right angle. Okay, and that's going to be right here, right angle. Step 3, note by the letter C the opposite side of the right angle. So A and B can be interchanged, but C is always the line that is across from the right angle, and a right angle is 90 degrees, of course. Step 4, use the Pythagorean theorem to determine the length of the hypotenuse. That is the official vocabulary word for side C. Okay. All right, here we go to our work. So number 1. What is the distance between the points A and B, where A is 0, 0 and B is 9, 12 on an XY coordinate plane? For these, if you don't have graph paper, you can easily draw your graph. What I did, you'll see on the next slide, is I actually Googled graph paper and I inserted it as an image, but you can have free graph paper that you can print on your computer at home if you like, or have access to that. Otherwise, you can just draw it with a straight edge and a pencil. Okay, so number 1, what is the distance between these 2 points? So let's make sense of the problem. It says a graph should help. So here it is. We have point 1 is down here. And we are going up to point 2, or point B, I guess. Oh, if I can get it on there. That big old squiggly thing. So it says, note, you have to have a right triangle. It can easily determine the length of the legs. And the reason it says easily is you are just finding the distance for for x and distance for y. Right here, you see they go to a right angle. And then we're going to use Pythagorean to determine side C. Okay, so method 1, we're going to visualize and use a graph, which is what happened up here. Use Pythagorean. A squared plus b squared equals c squared comes up with 15 equals c. You can also use the method 2, which is to use a formula. Here it is, d equals square root of change in x squared plus change in y squared. Plug in your values. You have to make sure that you have your x's together and your y's together. Solve it, comes up with d equals 15. So d and c are the same things. C identifies a hypotenuse. D identifies distance. They are the same thing. Okay, so let's do our own. Where are you? There we go. Okay, so we're going to start here with number 2. We have our point A and our point B. So on here, I chose a graph that did not already have the X and Y axes on there because as I was looking, well, for number 2, I need to get as large as 714. So that's going to be the upper right-hand quadrant, where 3, it's -3 and 9, which is going to be the lower left-hand quadrant. So this way I can just draw my axis every time and figure out where I need to go. Okay, so I do know I need the upper right-hand quadrant. That's my eraser still. Here we go. See how straight I can draw my lines. My trusty stylus. Not too bad. All right, so let's change colors here. So I need my point A is 0, 0, and my point B is 714. And of course, I don't have my glasses, so I'm going to have to really squint to see. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Oh, 7, sorry. And I got gung-ho. So here's 7. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so there's my point B. So first thing we're going to do, well, is plot them. Second thing is we now need to draw lines that will connect in a right angle. Okay, and then here is going to be our hypotenuse. So we're looking for side C. Of course, we already know A and B. We counted over. We got that from right here and right here. So I know that this side is 7 and this side is 14. Okay, so it doesn't matter which one of these is A or B, but C is the one that's important because it is across from the right angle. Okay, so let's use our Pythagorean and we're going to solve. Okay, so we have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, so I know 7 times 7 is 49. Plus, I don't know 14 squared, so I am going to use my calculator. 196 equals C squared. 196 plus 49 is 245. Find the square root of both sides. $15.6. Oh, and 15.65 is what I have, and I see on our answer key, it rounded up to 15.7. Okay. That was 2. Here we go. Number 3. All right, A and B. First thing is I know I'm going to need the lower left-hand quadrant for my point B. So we'll go like this. Not too bad and not too bad. Of course, this is our x-axis and our y-axis. Okay, so my point A is at 0, 1. Oh, let me change colors. 0, 1, right there. And -3, -9. So 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can get it on that spot. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to draw our lines to connect in a right angle. And I know that this is 3 because it's going from 3 to -3. Right here is 10. And I went down -9 spots, but I was already starting up at the 1. It is absolute value because I want to know how far I went. So it doesn't matter that it went to a negative. And then we're going to do the hypotenuse. That will be side C. Now, Pythagorean. Okay, so we have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 9 plus 100. Square root of each side. And on my iPhone, the square root looks like this with a 2. Okay. 10.44. Right here. Oh, whoops. I just want to square. There we go. That's our answer. 10.44 equals C, or here as 10.4. Okay, that was number 3. Okay, number 4. Here. All right, so I think I can do a graph kind of in the middle. Oh, no, that's 10. I'm going to go over 10, so we'll do it right here. Kind of crooked, but not too bad. Okay, so 10, -1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and -1. Okay, second one is 2, -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Oh, I wanted to do that blue. Okay. Here we are. There's our right angle. And we're going to complete, the triangle. There we go. All right, that's fine. And so now we need to know how long each side is. So this side here is 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that right? 1, yep. And over here is 8 because it's 10 take away 2. Is that right? And -1 and 8. Yeah, there we go. And we are looking for C. Right? Pretty easy, right, guys? Once you get in the swing of things. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. 16 plus 64 equals c squared. 6 plus 4 is 10. So that's going to be 80. Is that right? Yes, equals c squared, square root of both sides. .94. Yes. 8.9 equals C. Final answer. All right, 2 more. Okay, number 5. Let's get our chart here, or our coordinate plane. Not too bad. That one was really bad. Let's see. All right. Oh, now I got to do it here and that's good enough for me. All right. So our first point is 1, -2. And there he is there. And -4, -4, -4, -4 is there. Make a right angle here. There we go. So on this side here, I know that this is 2. And then this is going to be 5. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. 4 plus 25 equals c squared. 29. Square root of each side. $5.38 rounds up to 5.4. Okay, last one. Okay, number 6. All right, let's see if I can get this line. Okay, and it's good. I was holding my breath. All right, switch colors. All right, so we need to go -2, 7. So -2 comes here, and we're going to go up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then -2, -8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, what do you know? Oh, well, I don't know. There we go. All right. It is a straight line. So remember, the question said, what is the distance between point A and point B? Well, going to point A, we went 7 up. And then going to point B, we went 8 down. 7 plus 8 equals 15. Where are you? There you are. Easiest one here. And we are done with week 2, part 1A. Okay, there's one more to go. All right, let's do it. Okay. All right. So just looking at these, it's kind of fun. At first, I was like, wait, what? But it totally makes sense. And they're kind of fun problems, I think. Okay. So let's read it. We are number 1. A bird flew due south for 6 miles and then due west. If the bird is now 10 miles from where it started, how many miles west did it fly? So right there, some of you are like, a bird? And then some of you are like, south, due west. And that threw you off. But it's kind of cool. So here is our compass rose right here. North, south, east, west. And being born and raised in Reading, I've always been able to know these because of the directions that I would travel. So north is Mount Shasta, south is Sacramento, east is heading towards Shingletown and Lassen, and west is heading to the coast, okay, or Weaverville, okay? So that's how I always remembered. But it's just telling you what direction you are going to draw your line of your triangle. Okay, so north you're drawing up, south you're drawing down, east and west you're drawing left or right. Okay, so let's see, I should probably erase some of this. We'll do right here. Okay, so it says, what are you going to do? You need to make sense of the problem. And you'll see that on this problem, they're actually labeled with A, B, C, D, E. B, C, D, E. And the reason it's like that is when you get actually into the problem, you'll see the same A, B, C, D, E, and it's going to be for which direction you draw first, how far you go that direction, then where you go next, and then how far you end up in your distance from A to B. And for all of these problems, you're solving for B. So it will give you what is A and what is C, or the hypotenuse, and you're solving for B. Okay, so for this first one, it says make sense of the problem. Drawing should help. Recall the compass directions, which we have those here, and you're going to draw it here. So here it has a little birdie, and that's going to be your point A. Then it says you flew south for 6, so it comes down this way, and then we're going due west, and then ends up being 10 miles from the original start point. So what you're looking for is B. So down here, you have your A squared, that's an arrow. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And you're just going to plug in your values. 6 squared plus B squared equals 10 squared. Simplify. You get down here to B squared equals 64. Find the square root of each side, and it is 8 miles. Okay? Pretty cool. Let's see what it looks like from here on. Okay, so starting with number 2. Here we go. And I originally had my graph paper on this, and then I deleted it because I decided I didn't need it. And it's hard to draw on my Chromebook screen with my stylus. So we're just going to freehand it. So what we're looking at right here is A, it's telling us which direction we're going first. Okay, and number 2, we're going north. So we're going up. And B tells us how far up are we going? Okay, so let's start. So here's our little birdie, or that's our point A, and we are going to go up for 5. Okay, C now tells us which way we're going next. And the word due east or due west just means straight, and that's your hint that it's making a right angle. Okay, oh, let me draw, let's see here, north, south, east, west. All right, so that's where it is, our little compass rose. And D is how far away it is from the starting point. Okay, and that is going to be 11. And let's see here. And then for E, what's E? Oh, how many miles, whatever direction did it fly? So it's saying these will always match these. Okay, so it's just saying how far east, there's our E, how far east did it fly? And that's going to be our B. Okay, so once we do our Pythagorean theorem, which is, of course, A squared plus B squared equals C squared, we're going to simply plug in these values. We know A, 5 squared, plus B squared, and we know C, 11 squared. So we have 25 plus B squared equals 121. We're going to subtract 25 from each side. Running out of room here. So then B, I'm going to scooch it over here. B squared equals 121 minus 25 is, I think, 96. Minus 25, there it is, 96. Find the square root of both sides. B equals, there's my square root, 9.79. And look at that. It's rounded 9.8. Okay. All right. Pretty fun. Okay, number 3. Oops. Number 3. So we're going to go east. I'm going to preview. So I see that we are going east and south. So that means north and west. We're going to go to the right and then down. Okay, so we are first going to travel east for 9. That's here. And then south, which just means down. And we're going to end up 15 miles away from the start. Okay, so now right here, this can be either A or B. I'm just going to make them all be B, just make it easy for us. Okay, so there it is. I guess I drew that kind of big. That's okay. All right, so we are now going to say A squared, which is 9. 9 squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, so 81 plus B squared equals, I believe that's 225. 225. And, oh, my dog's dreaming. Can you hear my dog? Thanks. There. She was chasing a squirrel or something. All right, so now we're going to subtract 81 from each side. $144. And I know that that is a perfect square. Square root of 144 is 12. Check my answer key. There it is. Okay. That was number 3. Try not to skip any this time. Number 4. All right, we'll do a blue triangle. All right, so let's do our little compass rose. North, south, east, and west. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is the bird is flying west and then north. Okay, so here's where it starts. Oh, I need to give myself some more room. Okay, in fact, I'll do it down here. So we're going to go west for 3, and then north, and so that's north, west, north, and then it ends up being 7 miles away from the start. Okay, so the question is how far north? And I did say I was going to do all B's, but let's just do A to be fun. And I guess I always change my mind. There we go. So I want to make this an A. So now we have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, A squared plus 9 equals 49. Now I need to solve for A, just as if I was solving for B. Those two are interchangeable. Minus 9 on each side. That's a 9. Oh, now I'm just scribbling. All right, oh, because that's my A. A squared equals 40. Find the square root of each. A equals, my calculator, 40 square root, 6.32. There it is. 6.3. Okay. 2 more to go. Okay. North, south, east, west. All right. And we are on number 5. Okay. So we're going to go south and then east. So first, we're going south. And that was for 12. Shows me here. Now we're going east. And the final stop is going to be 13 miles away from where the bird started. Okay. Solve for B. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, 12 times 12 is 144 plus B squared. 13 times 13 is 169. We're going to subtract 144 from each side. That leaves me with B squared equals, let's see here, that's 5. That is 2. Nice and neat. Look at that. Perfect square. B equals 5 miles. And there is our answer there. All right. Yay. One more. Woo. All righty. Of course, north, south, east, west. This just always helps me, and I always would confuse east and west. So it honestly, just writing it over and over and over my whole life has helped me remember it. So that's how I do it. All right, number 6. There we go. We are going north. Let's see here, north. And then we are going west. Okay, so first we are going to go, and I know west is to the left, so I'm going to come over here. We are going north for 10, and then going west, and then the ending distance is 16 from the beginning. Okay, and this will be our B. Okay, so A squared is going to be 10 squared plus B squared equals C squared, which is 16. And I don't know that one, so I'll use my calculator. 100 plus B squared equals, which 15 squared is 225. 16. 256. Then we're going to subtract 100 from each side. So B squared equals 156. Take the square root of both sides. So then B equals got a text, I clicked on it. Let's see, 156 square root 12.48. Yes, and here it is. 12.5 is what it is rounded. There we go. All done. Week 2, part 1. Okay. All right, guys. That was good. I hope that it really helps you following along with these videos. I hope that you are putting in the effort and not just copying. I know it's really hard to learn on your own, but I know you can do it. It's been like an amazing year with math. I've really loved it. Had a lot of fun. So I will work on the second part, okay? So as you go through your day, remember who you are. Remember what you stand for and lead by example. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.